The Ben Coley Podcast. Hello, Songs for Isolation. It's another episode of the Ben Coley Podcast. This is episode 14. Thank you for listening. And I hope you're doing well. I hope you're keeping safe. I hope your families are all safe. It's such a weird one, isn't it? Now, how many weeks has it been now? It's been 9? 10? 10, I'm going to say. It's been going on forever, though. Don't you think that the way we used to live just seems like an age ago? It just seems so long ago. It's kind of weird as well, because I never thought I'd find myself saying that I'm kind of used to everything now. Like just kind of being at home and having time for myself. I'm kind of getting used to that. I hate this phrase, but I'm used to the new normal. That's a disgusting phrase, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I hope you've been listening to loads of great music. There's been some awesome stuff coming out in lockdown, both from huge established artists, but also under the radar artists as well, and that's what I'm going to be talking to you about today. So if you've never listened to my podcast before, welcome, firstly, but this is essentially a quick pit stop for essential new music, so it's a really good opportunity for you to touch base with some new unsigned artists and bands that you've perhaps never come across before, and if you walk away and you found a new song that you love, then I've done something good. So I'm going to get straight into it, but just before I do, just going to be telling you about how you can reach out to me should you wish to. If you've got any suggestions or questions for future episodes, or you want to know anything, or you just want to touch base with me, if you want to talk to me, then hit me up on any of my socials at bencoley97 on Twitter, or the bencoleypodcast at gmail.com. Copyright has been sorted, so copyright's a nightmare. If you do a podcast, you'll know exactly what it's like. It's trying to sort out music for podcasting is pretty rubbish, but all the unsigned artists have been contacted. In the rare cases that the unsigned artists do happen to be signed to a small label, the label's been contacted as well, and they've informed me that they own the sole copyright to all of their music, and they've given me full permission to use their music. Also, all of the links to all of the artists that you're going to hear are going to be down in the description, so you can go and follow the bands, download their music, like all their stuff on their social media. Right, first artist, I'm going to get straight into it. Ananda. Ananda. I think that's how I'm going to pronounce it. I'm just going to go for it. Ananda. He's a Kenyan record producer. This guy's really cool. He's been producing records since childhood, and he's had a huge passion for music. And actually, he kind of started off doing classical music. So he started to play instruments like guitar and piano from as young as the age of 6. But then shortly after, at the age of 9, is when he started getting into clarinet. And through his teens, a little bit later on, he got into performing Nickelback covers. He also started to venture into the realms of hip hop, and then eventually landed on EDM. And The Home is Eric's latest single that he brought out this year, and I absolutely love it. I think it's really cool. It's got this real sort of gentle EDM vibe to it. It's not intense. It's nice and laid back, and the focus is very much on the songwriting, less so the music. But the music is still great anyway. So I'm going to let Eric tell you a little bit more about his track Home.
Hey Ben, this is my song Home from my EP Drive. Drive is a 6-track EP about going through hard times, struggles, and difficult periods in life, like COVID-19 and the whole lockdown period. Initially, Home was just another love song about taking a chance with someone and just getting lost and trying to find a way back. But when the whole lockdown period started, it changed the perspective of the song to when you see someone down and struggling and need a bit of help, just reaching out and saying, hey, I want to help you. So the whole Take My Hand, Let's Drive was like trying to say, hey, I want to try to help you. I might not know how to, but I just want to at least try to. That's where going far away into the night comes in, because it's like going into a dark room and not knowing what to expect, but just only hoping for the best. With the thought of home not just being about walls and a roof, but with the thought of home being about feeling warm, welcome, and loved. Hope you enjoy and stay safe.
Take my hand, let's drive far away into the night. Don't know where we're gonna go, but we know all we need to know.
away you've got this warm, simple synth sound with this kind of distant, icy note just droning in the background. Boom, boom, boom. Awful impression, but you know what I mean. And the vocals are beautiful as well, and they're so rich sounding. I'm not sure who the vocalist is that Eric uses. I'm not sure if it's just a session vocalist or a friend of his, but she's got a beautiful voice, and I'm sure that Eric probably worked pretty hard on the melody with her as well, and the melody's stunning. And I love the idea in this track of kind of escapism, but always then returning home. So you've got the lyrics, take my hand, let's drive, far away into the night. So a little bit like what Eric was talking about, that kind of idea of support through tough times. But then no matter where we go, we'll always end up home. I think that's a real nice sentiment behind that. Also, the verse starts to build into this kind of instrumental break as it goes on. And there's this simple kind of affected beat in the background with a lot of emphasis on the bass drum. It's very bass drum heavy. And the synth becomes a little bit busier as well. And I love that kind of ambient sound that kind of creeps in the background. So here's I'm going to call it like a middle eight or like a chorus. It's kind of split into an A-B-A structure, this song. Kind of returns back to the main opening melody right at the end. So in this middle section, the hook's great, and it's kind of punctuated with these echoing hand claps that I quite like. And there's this real sense of intimacy in the vocals. It sounds like there's almost a second vocal line underneath the main vocal take that's this kind of whispered, hushed delivery, but it brings in this real sense of warmth. I love it. It sounds cool.
'Cause home is when I am with you. Home is in the things you do. Home is when I am with you. My home is with you. 'Cause home is when I am with you. Home is in the things you do. Home is when I am with you.
And like I said, it heads straight back into the very first opening phrase that you hear in the song, take my hand, let's drive. But when you listen to it again, you might notice a subtle switch. They've added in Eric has added in some very gentle swelling strings. And as the song continues toward the end, you get some faster 16th notes in the percussion that's added in. And then topping it off, there's some low-key vocoder effects that come in right at the end. And I'm such a sucker for vocoder. Don't you think vocoders just sound so cool? It's such a cool effect.
Take my hand, let's drive far away into the night. Don't know where we're gonna go, but we know all we need to know. 'Cause baby, you and me, we can drive it. No matter where we go, we'll always end up home.
So it's a little ambient electronic gem, Home is. I think it's really cool. It's not even 3 minutes long as well, so it's just kind of it's a very short space of time for Eric to flex his producing muscles, I suppose. But it's less is more. I think what's really impressed me with Eric's production in this is that he's made the most out of as fewer sounds as possible. He's not trying to cram loads in. He's kind of taken a more aggressive approach, but that sounds really cool. So thank you so much for that, Eric. Thank you for agreeing to feature your music on my podcast. Eric Ananda, check him out in the description. This is awesome, this track. It's probably one of my favourite tracks I've featured in a while. I say that every week, so I'm going to shut up. I always say, this is my favourite. But this is a good song. This is FLAVIA. So she's an electronic singer-songwriter and producer. She grew up in Ireland, but she kind of lived pretty much all over the world until she eventually settled in LA. So she lived in Italy for a while as well, which is important in the context of her music because she certainly brings different world flavours and this kind of exotic feel to all of her music, and it kind of makes her songwriting so vibrant. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but that's certainly the kind of impression I get. And FLAVIA, I think is very much an artist of the times. She flirts with subject matters across her songs like love, sexuality, sex, curiosity, and the track that I'm going to be reviewing or featuring today is called Them. And this is a perfect example of those themes that I just spoke about. So the video for this track, Them, was released on Trans Day of Visibility. Forgive me, I'm really not sure what date that is, actually, Trans Day of Visibility, but it was released on that day, and I feel the main lyric in the song sums up FLAVIA's kind of lust for life and this sense of togetherness that she's trying to convey in this track. Ask me who I'm with them. Straight in, here's the first verse and chorus, and FLAVIA's going to tell you a little bit about it.
Hey Ben, this is my song, Them. Them was inspired by a specific romance I had with a trans masculine person, but the video's intentions were to be inclusive of the entire trans, gender nonconforming, and non-binary community. I released it in support of trans rights. The T in LGBTQ is so often wildly under or misrepresented in media, and I wanted to shed light and help raise awareness for the trans community specifically. It's important that cis allies support and help lift up the gender nonconforming communities that haven't been afforded the same opportunities as binary folks. It's with strength in numbers and using our own resources to help others that we can truly make a change. Hope you like it.
Hand on your chest, teach me how to respect your figure. Put me to the test, stop me if I get close to your triggers. First touch, woke up, first love in the middle. You're like it rough, but also like a gentle. Everybody's got an opinion on the way that we should be living. To the naked eye, we're the same thing, but we're so different. Ask me who I'm with them. But it was a woman, now a real gentleman. Don't need a label when I'm lying on the skin. Ask me who I'm with them.
It's good, isn't it? That chorus is so catchy. Such a good chorus. I'm just going to let it play on. I'm going to let it play on.
Love the scars on your chest as our bodies undress. Will be the 96. Look at me when you're coming. Okay, I must confess that I'm kind of obsessed with you under the sheets. Give me both sides of what I need. Ask me who I'm with them. But it was a woman, now a real gentleman. Don't need a label when I'm lying on the skin. Ask me who I'm with them. Ask me who I'm with them. But it was a woman, now a real gentleman. Don't need a label when I'm lying on the skin. Ask me who.
And the chorus features FLAVIA's falsetto voice, which it sounds beautiful, but still so powerful at the same time. And I love the subtle harmonies that are just drifting around as well. So this now is kind of a little pause for breath in the song, only a short pause for breath, where you get some scattering synth, and FLAVIA is kind of testing out her lower vocal range. She's kind of half singing, half speaking, and it's cool to see that she sounds equally good in her lower registers, just as good as she sounds in her higher registers. And I love the meaning behind the lyric, love is love no matter what, just teach before you touch. And that obviously came from her previous relationship that she had. And it's just amazing to see how she's drawn in her personal life influences into the lyrics, and for the lyrics to be so resonant and so meaningful.
Love is love no matter what, just teach before you touch. Speak up for what you want. I like kissing you. Are you okay if I touch you like that? You're not the typical guy, but you're just my type. Outside and on the inside. Ask me who I'm with them. But it was a woman, now a real gentleman. Don't need a label when I'm lying on the skin. Ask me who ask me who ask me who I'm with them. But it was a woman, now a real gentleman. Don't need a label when I'm lying on the skin.
So it's catchy, it's well written, it's so well produced, I think. I'm no producer, but I think it sounds amazingly produced. It's just a bit of a banger, really, and it's essentially saying, love yourself, you're fine just the way you are. And to be honest, Couldn't we all do with a bit of that right now? So check out the video for it as well, which is linked in the description. I'm pretty sure the final quote in the video is going to resonate with you as well. Be unapologetically yourself. The world will follow. Powerful. I love that. Also, she's got a new single coming out pretty soon. Let me just get it up. Yeah, she's got a new single coming out June the 12th. It's called Blue. So make sure you go and follow her. Make sure you're engaged with her socials because she'll be putting that out on the 12th of June, so not too long to wait for that. Here's the final unsigned artist that I'm going to be featuring today, McCall. McCall and her track Disaster. So McCall is an 18-year-old singer-songwriter. She's from Atlanta, Georgia. And in a similar way to Eric Ananda, she has been musical from such an early age. She grew up playing guitar, and she took a lot of influence from what she heard on the radio and some kind of old Motown and classic rock records that her mum played for her, which is pretty cool. It's cool that her mum brought her up on Motown as well. That's a flex. My mum brought me up listening to Jack Johnson, which is, nothing wrong with that. I love Jack Johnson, but Motown, come on. Anyway, she released her debut EP at the age of 15, and she's just kept going ever since. So she's been at it for about 4 or 5 years now. And the track that I'm going to be talking about is called Disaster, which is her latest single. If you follow her on Instagram, or if you go and follow her on Instagram straight after this, you'll see that she's always posting these kind of cute little acoustic guitar videos where you'd think she's just a singer-songwriter, and then you listen to this song and the production on it, and it's such a long shot from what you come to expect of her, but it really surprised me in the best possible way.
Hey, my name's McCall, and you are about to listen to Disaster. Disaster really tackles pretty much everything that I'm ashamed about and insecure about. I figured I would just get it all out there and say it in one song so that I can move on from there. And it's been really powerful and really helpful for me, and I hope that you find some solace in it too. Thanks.
Cheers, McCall. So this is her track Disaster.
Creased around my eyes. I look older than I did last night. I've been giving into my lesser side, stockpiling all of my pride. I've been calling home less on the weekends and making mama cry. Hiding anger underneath my skin. I'm picking my nails down to the quick. Oh, honestly, my memories a blessing in disguise. If I remembered everything, I'd make a work, 'cause I know apologies never matter. Late in the morning after, take me away from my own head. Baby, I'm a walking disaster. Think of all the shame I can gather.
It starts off with this kind of enveloping synth, this synth that kind of you feel like is surrounding you. If you listen to it through headphones, it's just rattling around in your brain, and you got this heavy, distorted, stabbing bass that comes in as well. So I mean, already it surprised me straight from the off. I really wasn't expecting this kind of sort of huge sound, and there's these amazing thick vocal arrangements as well, coupled in with some kind of a real nice vocal quality that she's got. She's so in command of her own voice. Her voice sounds incredible, and the chorus sounds incredible as well. It just kind of comes storming out the gates. I love the hook, I'm a walking disaster, and I think we can all relate to that lyric, can't we? I'm a walking disaster. We've all got insecurities. I've got insecurities, you've got insecurities, and sometimes we can let our insecurities kind of get the better of us, and we're all down on ourselves, and we think, oh, I'm a walking disaster, I'm good for nothing. And yeah, that lyric just really resonated with me. I think it's cool. And there's some rippling guitar that kind of creeps in really low down in the mix if you listen carefully. Stick some headphones on. I feel like it adds a lot to the chorus. The second verse is the same. You got the same melody pretty much, but instrumentally it's quite a bit different. So you've got this pitch shifted synth that comes in. And when I say pitch shifted synth, it's this synth that kind of jumps up really high and then shoots back down low. You'll notice it as soon as you hear it. And then there's this mechanical drone that gets brought into the mix. This kind of freaky little background sound. And you've got some plucked orchestral string parts, which freshens it up a little bit. I think that's a nice touch. And then you go straight into the final chorus. So, I mean, by now, if you're not already sold on Disaster, then I don't know what's going on. It's awesome.
So painfully unself-aware, thinking I can solve my problems if I dye my hair. I shout my ailments to the end of a small suburban town. I get what I want, choking on the silver in my mouth. Apologies never mattered. Late in the morning after, take me away from my own head. Baby, I'm a walking disaster. Pick up all the shame I can gather, throw it over the rafters. Take my fingers and stain them all red. Baby, I'm a walking disaster.
It's only short, this track. It's like 2 minutes 40, 2 minutes 30, something like that. So it's just kind of a little slap round the face, really. It kind of just freshens you up a bit. You get a blast of energy from it, which I really like. And it just goes to show how much talent McCall has. And she's so young, she's 18, it's mad. So I love what she's doing, and I can't wait to hear what she brings out in the future. So fair play, McCall. Thank you so much for allowing me to feature your track on my podcast. And again, just go and check her out in the description. My song of the week is Leanne LaHavas, Can't Fight. Oh, she's got such a good voice. I'd actually go as far as saying that Leanne LaHavas probably has one of my favourite voices, full stop. Like, not just in the world of neo-soul, or not just in the world of R&B or pop, just ever. I think she's just got such an incredible voice. So this is a little neo-soul banger from Leanne LaHavas. And I'm a guitarist, and I'm really into my jazz guitar. I love all that sort of stuff. So I'm such a sucker for jazzy guitar parts. And this song is just funky jazz guitar throughout, which sounds amazing. And it's got some amazing funky bass added into the mix. And it's got this live performance feel to it. When you listen to this Leanne LaHavas track, it sounds like the band is playing live, which I think is awesome. And it's got a great chorus as well. So I'd say if you're having a lazy morning, or you just want to be taken somewhere else, maybe if you wake up and you're just having a morning coffee and you're looking out the window and you're kind of daydreaming, this is a great track to have on it. This is the track for you, I'd say. Leanne LaHavas, Can't Fight. Last up, my album of the week. And this album is from the week before last, Charlie XCX, but I love it so much that I've kind of had it as my album of the week because I've been listening to it so much, and it's very much kind of dictating my playlist at the moment. So it's a Charlie XCX album called How I'm Feeling Now. And Charlie XCX is kind of continuing her amazing bubblegum pop influenced sound on this album. It's exciting, it's dynamic, it sounds so fresh. She's got such a great sound. And there's a tendency for each and every track on this album to almost descend into what I can only describe as like mechanical chaos. It feels like it's just on the brink of collapsing. Every single song, each song sounds so brittle and agitated, but it really works. You'll know what I mean when you listen to it. And probably my favourite song for you to listen out for on this album is called Forever. It's a beautiful mix between an ugly production sound, but then beautiful songwriting. And it's an album as well that kind of deals with mental anguish. I feel it's very sign of the times, that is, with a global pandemic on. We're all, or maybe not we're all, but so many people are experiencing some form of mental anguish, or we're all perhaps thinking deeply about things. We've all got a lot of time to think at the minute. So if you're a fan of Charlie's previous stuff, or if you just want to listen to something a little bit different that sounds different to other pop that's out there at the minute, then check out this album. It's definitely the album for you. Charlie XCX, How I'm Feeling Now. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Ben Coley podcast, episode 14. I'll be back next time with episode 15, obviously. Duh. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Please like, please subscribe, please leave a review, leave a comment. That would be much appreciated. And can't even speak. I'll see you next time.
The Ben Coley Podcast.